Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful night. So, this is a funny story. Well, funny, not haha funny, like it's just annoying. Climate activists land devastating blow against big oil by disrupting minor Tekken tournament. I feel like the author of this article is just trying to be like ironic because it's just ridiculous. So let's get into this. Competitive video games are the largest targets of Just Stop Oil Group's disruption tactics. Now, if you don't know what this group is, it's basically a protest group that has done a lot of insane things to try and push their message about stopping oil, despite having no common sense whatsoever. Because most of the time, at least, there are dozens of these videos on YouTube showing them like sitting in the middle of highways, disrupting traffic, throwing food on priceless artwork, stuff like that. And I just think to them, like, you do realize that the billionaires and millionaires of the world who control oil distribution don't care about any of this stuff because, one, they're likely not going to give a damn but some artwork. They probably have even more wealthy stuff in their own home. Two, the people that you're blocking in those highways are usually just common people who are trying to get to their job, trying to, live their lives, like using buses. They work for the post office, delivering stuff. They're trying to get to their job. It's like everyday people. And it also increases oil use because a lot of them use cars that use oil, petroleum. So you're just increasing their use of petroleum because they have to refill up their tank more based on all these actions that you're taking. When you start to put like simple things behind it, like simple thoughts, it doesn't make any sense. On top of it, again, the most wealthy people who are actually in charge of this stuff are not being affected by this. They're actually making more money off this. And then on top of it, you're also putting your well-being at risk. Look, I'm all about freedom of protest. I do believe in that stuff. I think you do have a right to do it, but within reason. If you're starting to cause harm and calamity around people around you, then that's where things get too far. The UK-based climate change group Just Stop Oil is often in the headlines for its large-scale marches and disrupted protests, most notably closing sections of UK's busiest motorways. But this weekend, its sites moved from civil disobedience to fighting game community. And you absolutely want to piss off gamers because gamers obviously are very reasonable people. They're not vindictive, they're not angry, and they will definitely not go after you if you disrupt their games. I know gamers are very civil people. A Tekken 7 event being held at EGX 2023 was targeted during three activists from the group invaded the stage during the tournament's winners finals before spraying orange paint on the big screen behind the competitors and parts of the stage. Like, they probably ruined more, like, items than the prize pool for this tournament, I'm guessing. And on top of it, it's like that paint, I'm going to assume that it could be toxic. At least I hope it's not toxic. If you've ever painted in your life, you know that stuff it smells. There's a reason why when you paint, you're supposed to wear masks and filters. So, especially if it gets into someone's eye. Like, you're spraying this everywhere. If that stuff gets into someone's eye, again, it could be very dangerous. The protesters subsequently addressed the audience to a chorus of boos before being escorted from the venue by security and then being arrested on suspicion of criminal damage by the Metropolitan Police. Like, I don't get the idea. Like, the whole idea of protest is to get people on your side. Like, isn't that the reason? Like, you're trying to get people to be aware of whatever you're trying to push. Like, I remember my local grocery store, there were people who were protesting. You know what they were doing? They were handing out flyers. They were telling people how they were being mistreated. And I decided not to shop there. I was like, you know what? These workers say they're not being treated correctly. I'm going to leave. And a lot of people also chose not to shop at that grocery store, and they went to a different grocery store. That's how you do it. You get people on your side. You don't treat them like this. The choice of target may seem odd. Just Stop Oil's rationale is that EGX itself, a major event in the UK gaming calendar, is sponsored by Barclays Bank. The groups claim Barclays is responsible for financing over $167 billion in fossil fuels, and then takes a detour into blaming Shell's sponsorship deal with Fortnite and various influencers, which raises the question of why it didn't target a Fortnite event. I feel like if they targeted a Fortnite event, it would probably have been a lot more violent because, Look, if I had a choice between targeting a Tekken event and a Fortnite event, go for the Tekken event. Yeah, absolutely not the Fortnite event. I feel like they would be a lot more aggressive. I know it's ironic that's more of a kid shooter game, but yeah, I feel like they would be the fighting game community might probably be a little more civil about this. They'll probably be like, let's just get these people out of here. It seems that they did that. On top of it, you're blaming a bank. Then why don't you go after the bank and protest at the bank? I'm just saying, like, you could go protest at the bank, not the fighting game event. It doesn't make any sense. Plus, there are other sponsors. You can literally see their ViewSonic. MSI Arena. I believe that's another oil stat just for the marketing of. Oh, it's just the arena, AGX Arena. But MSI and ViewSonic also sponsor them. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And plus, banks sponsor lots of things, like not just fossil fuel. On top of it, the reason they sponsor fossil fuel is because a large portion of society is based on running on fossil fuels. Look, I do believe we need to transition from fossil fuels in order to, maintain the climate and try and reverse climate change. But it's a slow, ongoing process. You can't just snap your fingers like Sonic in the latest Sonic Frontiers DLC and everything changes. No. It takes a very slow, ongoing process by multiple governments around the world. The reason we haven't done it yet is because a lot of governments refuse to do it. Like, for example, China is going through a huge industrial revolution. They refuse to change because England and the US went through that, and we saw economic prosperity about it. So they're like, why can't we do that too? Which is like a pretty plausible argument there. But at the same time, our planet is heating up. I know I'm not trying to become political here. I'm just trying to build context. I usually do this for my videos. It's just with everything they're doing here, you can't just instantly make it happen. It's a slow, very methodical process that takes years of development. Yeah, we're kind of going through a lot of destructive elements right now in our own world right now because of climate change, but this is not going to win any favors. This is going to make people go in the opposite direction. Like, you're just annoying people. This isn't a game. Just Stop Oil disrupts UK's biggest gaming convention. 3 supporters of Just Stop Oil have disrupted the winners final of Tekken 7. They're making it seem like it's a win. These people had nothing to do with anything that you're trying to protest. These are just people trying to win a prize pool for being good at a video game. And there are people in the audience who just want to watch their favorite content creators, duke it out in Tekken 7. Like, you won more enemies here. Like, I'm not a fighting game person, and even I'm just like, I've never supported these guys because the way they go about it, like I've stated, is incredibly stupid from my perspective because it makes no sense. I mean, it would be a huge conspiracy if, like, the Just Stop Oil protesters are actually funded secretly by oil protesters seeking to capitalize on use of more oil. Like I stated, they're disrupting highways, so, get more petroleum out there. It is hard to imagine that executives to either Barclays or Shell are especially bothered that a fighting game tournament with it's only $5,000. Well, it's 5,000 euros, so what, $5,500? You probably damaged more equipment. Actually, let's see this. Show short snippets. Dude, I like how the fighting. I like how the gamers are just like, they're mildly annoyed. They're just still playing through everything. That is commitment. Dude, they likely destroyed more equipment. Like, these monitors are not cheap. If this is hosted by ViewSonic, they make some pretty good monitors. Sorry, OBS crashed on me. It's been doing that a lot. But like I was stating, like, if this is sponsored by ViewSonic and MSI, they have some really expensive equipment. They're not using cheap monitors, I'm guessing, especially for fighting games. You probably ruined that, what, $1,200 monitor or something, especially if they got the 4K, 144 hertz. Dude, you, like, why? And, like, this orange paint is right by this guy's eye. Like, imagine if that went onto his eye. He could possibly sue all 3 of these people for that. I mean, what are you going to go to a judge? Yeah, we trespassed at a fighting game tournament and we sprayed orange paint everywhere and it got into this guy's eye and then he couldn't see for the rest of the tournament. Like, he's going to be like, okay, then he's in the right. You're going to prison. After the event, the tournament continued with Joka beating Aracena. I can't say their names in the final. 3rd place went to the players who were on stage during the protest. Let's see. So Active stopped the winners of the final match between me and Joka at DGX. Nonsensical disruption. I'm speed reading through this because this is a lot. There have been swings in public opinion about the group's tactics, believing climate change, human activity. Attacked an event, majority of people in attendance are young, likely more liberal and conscientious about the climate. Need to make a change. Yeah. It's basically just regurgitating everything I just stated. If you want to read it yourself, I'll put it in the comments below. But regardless, this is just stupid. Like, you've won more enemies than allies in this situation for absolutely no reason. Like I stated, why don't you go protest at Shell's gas stations or like Barclays banks or whatever instead of like a $5,000 tournament for Tekken? Like, it absolutely, like, I think they just wanted to try and get attention out there, thinking that they're going to win someone like over. As I stated, gamers are very vindictive, and all you did was show them like, hey, these people are insane. They're destroying equipment, spraying shit everywhere, and no one's going to take you seriously because what you're doing is purely nonsense. It's almost like they have no idea how the real world works, and they're just trying to find some purpose through arbitrary activity without fully thinking it through. It's like just empty words with no meaning behind it, as they just keep shouting buzzwords everywhere. That's how I see it. Because, again, if I made the plausible argument to all of them about how you're disrupting normal everyday people, how you're costing those people to consume more oil than necessary, and that the world runs on this type of resource and it would take decades for us to transition to something entirely new, it would probably go through they would just ignore me and say I'm an idiot. But regardless, tell me what you think in the comments below. I think this was utterly stupid, but, you know, kind of funny to watch. Good on the gamers, like these professionals. Like, I wouldn't be able to play through this. I would have walked away. But, yeah, I mean, they're real. They just show their dedication, and I think that's freaking awesome. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike. That's me, signing out.